Okay, Meg, so we're going to try and make a mask. So you're going to get your fabric and you're going to fold it so that the two good sides, the right sides, are together. And we're going to fold it so that you're not wasting a lot of material. So we can see that the fold is here, and on the pattern this side goes on the fold, and we can also see that we've got a top, so we want to make sure that the top is going in the same direction as the pattern, which I'll show you on the next piece of fabric that we use, because we need 2 pieces of fabric for each mask. So we're going to pin this on here, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to draw around it. So you've got some of these pens, I gave some to Mummy, so you can draw around your shape. And that way we can then take the pattern off and you've got the shape that you want. What you might want to do is pop a pin in the material to stop it from moving when you're cutting. So I'm just going to cut this out quickly. I know that you're going to use scissors, so I'm just going to do this quickly. I'm going to make sure that it goes right through, because I need a new blade on here. Right, and then I'm going to do this side, and then I'm going to cut down this side. And then I'm just going to make sure that all my little bits come away until I get my new blade in. Right, okay. So that will be one whole piece. So we've got another piece of fabric now, and we can see this is the right side and this is the wrong side. So we're going to fold right sides together, and then we're going to make sure that our little pattern piece is the right side up. So we've got the top, which is the pointy end, and we need to put this bit on the fold, which is here. So again, we're going to put that on there. I'm going to pin it, draw around it and cut it out.
Okay.
So now we're going to go to the next part of the pattern. So this again has got a top, and it's telling us where to put it on the fold. So we're going to turn it so that our fabric is, the fold is facing the right way, and we're just going to place that on there on the fold. We're not going to pin it on, we're not going to do anything, we're just going to hold it there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold that corner over and give it a bit of a press, and then we're going to fold that corner over and give it a bit of a press, and then I'm going to draw a line where that crease is. There you go. And then we're going to do the same to this one. So we can see the front of that pattern is on the fold. We're going to crease that one over, and then where the crease is, we're going to draw a line. And then we're going to crease the bottom over, and we're going to draw a line.
Okay.
So the next bit, we're actually going to use our sewing machine, and what we're going to do is we're going to sew just on these lines on both of the pieces of fabric. So your centre goes on there. I'm turning my machine down so that it doesn't go too fast, and we are going to go backwards and forwards at the beginning and end. That's it. Then we can pull that out and cut it. And then we are going to do exactly the same again. So that's it. And then we're going to do the same on the second piece. So now we've got those 4 corners all sewed, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut those corners off, and we're going to leave a little bit of a gap on the top there, just so that we're not cutting directly next to the stitch line. There you go. So now we're going to open both of our pieces out. They're not going to lay flat, so don't worry. But what we're going to do now is we're going to pin them together. So where those 2 corners are, we're going to put the 2 stitch lines together.
So right side to right side.
Right side to right side. Then we've got our seams on the outer edges, and we're going to put a pin in there. And then we're going to turn it round, and we're going to do the same again. The 2 stitch lines together like that, and then we're going to put a pin in. There you go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch them together. So what we are going to do is we're going to stitch a line all the way across here, and then we're going to do the same on the bottom. Now it's up to you. You can either draw yourself a line along there, which is probably not a bad idea, but what we're going to do is we're going to not stitch right on the edge. We're going to stitch a little way in, and I can measure that with my foot on my sewing machine. So if we look here, if I line my material up with the outside of my foot like that, can you see? They're the same, and that is where we're going to sew, and we're going to sew a straight line all the way across. So now we're going to do the same with the top, and this is the top, it's the angled one. And can you see when I pin, I always pin this way, so you pin towards the edge, and I do that for a reason, because then my sewing machine, if it comes near a pin, it will just go straight over it without harming the pin or the machine or the thing that you're doing. So we've got the edge to edge, then we're going again the edge of the fabric to the edge of the foot, and we're going to sew, remembering to go backwards and forwards at the start and the stop. So when you get to the top, slow down a little bit, and then you can either keep going and turn around a corner, or you can wind your needle down and just lift your foot up a little bit and turn it. And then we're going to go right to the edge again, remembering to go backwards at the end. So I've taken my pins out now, and I'm going to turn it inside out.
Right side out.
Just with my fingers.
So you end up with a tube of sorts.
But I am going to make sure that, like you did with your scrunchies, your seam there is nice and flat, because then what we are going to do is we are going to iron them flat. So you've probably not done ironing with your scrunchies. It would help your scrunchies, but with this we have no choice. So I'm going to get my iron. And sew it flat at the top. And then I'm going to sew it flat on the other side.
Iron it, you mean?
Oh yeah.
Iron it, not sew it.
And then my iron's got water in it at the moment, so it's steaming, but you don't need to have water in your iron to do that. And we're just going to iron that last seam. And then that's all the ironing done for now.
Okay.
So now we need to turn the ends in so that they're neat. So you can see that my ends actually don't match. One's bigger than the other. Really don't worry about that. So we're going to fold the ends in. And then we're going to fold the top material under. Not a lot. About probably just under a centimetre. And then again, we're going to iron that flat. So this one again is an important one. It must be ironed flat.
Okay.
So now we need to measure the elastic. So I think for your size mask, I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to go for 13 centimetres. And we're going to need 2 of those. And you can see also that I've just popped one of those wonder clips on each one of my turned edges just to keep them in place for now. So now we're going to put the elastic in. So this bit can be tricky, and we need 2 clips for each edge. And you're going to poke the elastic in between the 2 edges by about 1 centimetre. And you're going to put a little clip on it. And then we're going to poke it in and we're going to put a clip on it. So we're going to sew this on. Now can you see that where I've put the elastic, it's not by the edges. It's about, I'd say, 1 centimetre in. And that's so the machining is easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this top clip off. And we're going to put this under our foot.
Make sure your elastic's still in.
Again, near the edge of the foot. And we're going to go back and forward. So we're going to go back and forward over where the elastic is, so we make sure that it holds it in place. And then we're going to go all the way down. Take that second clip off. You can see where your elastic is there, so I've just got my finger right on the end of that.
And you're making sure that you're stitching on the folded bit as well, aren't you?
Yep.
Yep.
And then we're going to go over where the elastic is again, and then right off the edge.
Okay.
So we've got the elastic again on there, about 1 centimetre in from each seam. I'm going to take the top clip off underneath, and we're going to put our foot down. And because we've turned each of those seams in about 1 centimetre, that's how we know we are going to be on that folded bit. So we're going to go backwards and forwards over where your elastic is. And you can see there that sometimes, because the material is a little thick, because you've got 4 layers and some elastic, the machine sometimes needs a little bit of help, but that's fine. And then right off the edge. So you can see now that we've got sewed edges there and here. Cut all your little ends off so that you've got a fairly neat finish, and then you can mould it with your fingers a little bit But there you can see that you have a mask.